for checking up and check it out now. Wow, that was a weak-ass intro, but I'm pretty sick. Again, I know, again. Anyway, Happy New Year's. Happy 2020. And if you're wondering what the plan for me and my platform is in 2020, it's to really go back to the roots of where we don't give a fuck about what nobody says. Not like I really have, but just to let people know I'm always here for the voice of the people, not for the voice of the industry. Now, Meek Mill. And I've been a little bit confused by Meek Mill in the last year. Because even though he admittedly is a work in progress, to me, everything he does, or a lot of things he does or say, actually says more than does, seems pretty contradictory. He seems like the guy who is on whatever side of the fence, depending on whoever he's trying to please. So, for example, he'll be advocating for prison reform, but he'll also be sending messages through his music that send people to prison. Which one is it? Okay? It's like basically somebody who's advocating for rehab instead of prison. However, they're the one pumping the drugs in the communities. So again, I can't really tell where Meek Mill stands on a lot of things because oftentimes he's going for something good, but then in his music and in some of the coded messages he sends on Twitter, he's very much talking the streets. Now, here's the latest example from Meek Mill, which I'm a little bit confused at again. Now, he tweeted out, if you guys don't know, basically like, Donald Trump killed one of the top Iranian leaders, and a lot of people are in fear that we might enter a third world war. In reality, we're not going to probably go into a world war. However, memes have popped up, and the internet is going to internet. Now, Meek Mill had to chime in. He said, one time for the soldiers that really go to war and put their life on the line, we from the trenches. So we understand the feeling of having your life on the line 24/7, not knowing if you're going to make it home. Now, this is pretty much the most self-indulgent, narcissistic tweet you could probably have about the situation, because while we're trying to give some light to the men and women who serve in our armed forces, and of course I'm talking about the United States in this particular matter, Meek Mill had to say that being in the streets is like being in war. And again, I look at Meek and I'm like, what is he talking about? Again, I understand when Meek is trying to say that being in an environment where you're from the quote-unquote trenches, your life may be on the line at whatever point, but to compare a lot of people who, by the way, let's keep it real, and this is the thing I don't like that Meek never admits, most of the street life shit is really crime. That's what it is. The streets, you could call it survival, but it's usually survival by doing crime. Whether you're selling drugs, whether you got to kill somebody, whether you got to hurt somebody, usually street means crime. Now, that's completely different in my opinion. I want y'all to weigh in. Then the men and women who actually offer and volunteer their services and risk their life to protect the life of others. I keep hearing these dudes talk about street codes, yet when every time these things get locked up, they're telling on each other. So this is the reason I look at it, I'm like, so you're telling me that somebody who's in the Marines, who might be in the Middle East right now, who could get targeted with a C4, a landmine, they could get hit by some type of missile. They're basically fighting for people who have never even seen the horrors of war. They are having the same experiences like Meek Mill in the trenches? Bro, come on, man. We really got to waken up. I'm telling you, the street mentality that a lot of these rappers push, but still, at a certain times when they want to show that they're woke, they flip on the other side of the fence conveniently. Oh, yeah, prison reform. But, yo, listen, man, we keep it in the streets. This is a very detrimental mindset to the whole society. Okay? Now, again, I understand that's how some of these rappers eat and whatever. And by the way, if Meek stopped talking about the streets and really start talking a certain type of way, his fans are going to, fall back. Remember when a lot of people gave me flack for saying, when 21 Savage was saying he was going to talk about financial literacy, this and third. I said, I'm not saying he can't do that, but if he cares about his career, he probably won't. You know why? Because the fans want the same old fuckery. And in reality, these artists, they're trying to balance their wallet with balancing their morality. What Meek is doing for prison reform, really good. Pumping that same rhetoric of streets and trenches and how you get down and, who's the realest, that is also detrimental to what you're just saying. Because one puts someone in the position to be helped out by the other. So pretty much you're starting the cycle. It's like bait car. You're encouraging it in one way, and then at the end you're like, okay, let's help you out now. That's all I'm saying. You don't got to believe me, or you don't got to really take my point of view on this, because again, I'm not no street nigga. I just watch these dudes who claim they're street niggas. They pump that hypocritical message, and I look at it and I'm like, damn, Do people really let it slide? Y'all get a comment. Make sure you guys like them, subscribe. It's Akademiks. I'm a little sick, but I'm going to keep it going.